Cool. So now we're going to look at the planetary activations, and it's probably good to understand that human design borrows the planetary framework from astrology. So if you're familiar with astrology, had a reading or got into it a bit yourself, you'll see you'll see the same language used. However, human design uses it very differently. So astrology asks, like, what is happening in the sky? How does this influence personality, timing, and cycles? Human design is more interested and asks, what imprint did these planetary positions leave on our body and consciousness at the time of birth? Um, so rather than becoming like something that we use to predict things, it's more um, mechanical and like trying to, it's all about clues. Clues because of traits that were left behind by these planetary activations at the time of our birth. If we can understand those clues, then we can understand how these planets shape the gate activations that we've discussed that are present in that planet. So let me break down what I mean by that. If we have a look here, next back. If we look here, these are all the planets, right? So we've got Sun, Earth, Moon, North Node, South Node, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the exact same flow down the other side, however, different gates. And the reason for that, like I said when I introduced this video, is human design is asking what imprint did these planets have on the body, the design side, and the personality or consciousness at the time of birth. So I'm going to go, I didn't cover this in the last video, didn't feel I needed to, but now I'm going to. The difference between personality, mind, conscious awareness, and design, body, unconscious awareness. So these planets and the gates that are associated to them. So my sun gate is gate 46 is activated in my sun. Gate 25 is activated in my earth. Gate 13 is activated in my moon, and so on and so forth. I've got a list, as you saw when I skipped the slide, of all of these planets and their themes, so you don't have to worry about writing this all down. So this set of gates is pulled based on the time of your birth, the time that we enter into your birth chart. Okay, the time you came out of your mother, right? Or the time that they announced your birth. So this side is 88 days prior, and this represents your unconscious, your body, your soul, if you like. Now, this side you're aware of. These are traits that, if we started having a look at what your sun gate is, the gate in your earth, your moon, you will have some sort of resonance, like you can see these aspects about you. They won't kind of catch you off guard. There might be things you can learn, but for the most part, you will be familiar in seeing these traits or maybe challenges in your journey so far. On the other side, however, you may not. You may not resonate with some of the things that are being described, and that is because it's unconscious. Okay, but this is these are the attributes that other people can see. Yeah, while we may not be conscious of the traits or the challenges, other people can be. So with that being said, let us move into having a deeper look at what the planets mean, okay? Because how we layer this is when we go to have a look into a gate, especially myself as someone who analyzes these charts, we look at a gate, but we can't just look at the gate. We've also got to look at the profile, the 6 different profiles of that gate, because that matters. It has a slightly different flavor, you know what I mean? And then from there, we've also got to look at where it's sitting, where, like, in which planet is it activated, and then that tells you the theme of that gate. So in your life, right? It tells you, um, that question at the start. This gate and its ahua, or like its vibe, um, like this planet is imprinting upon that energy in your body. Okay. So let's go from the top to the bottom. I mean, you can read this, but you know, I'm just gonna pull up my chart on my other screen so I can see it. But our sun planet is our, I think it's called ascending in astrology, but because the sun's the closest planet to us. Okay, so it's got the most influence on us. Yeah, it's got and and same with the earth, because we're on the earth. Hello, right? So the earth and the sun are our, they carry a lot of weight in terms of the imprinting that these planets have. So let's just say this: the earth and the sun together make up 70% of our imprinting. So these two gates that correspond to these planets are making up 70% of like our force, or like of how we're seen. Yeah. So two very important gates, both on the conscious and unconscious, to understand. Then we've got the because obviously on Earth we're grounded, like we're 10 toes down here on Earth, right? It's how we're balanced, right? With us, with the sun, it's like this is our life force. This is what we're here to emanate and put out. Then we've got the moon, all about motivation and a drive, what moves us forward. Again, these making up, the other 30% of our imprinting, of how our energy has been imprinted. North node, future direction. South node, past. Mercury, how we communicate. This one I look into for how to show up online and how to show up when I'm communicating, in different places. Venus, our values, it's like naturally the feminine side, relationships, morals. Mars, understanding any immature energy that we may need to work with, and developing mastery. Jupiter, expansion, growth, rewards. Saturn, lesson, disciplines, responsibility, karma, right? Lessons, big one, Saturn. Uranus, sort of like our potama, our personal challenges that we go through to up level, to mutate, to create ourselves anew. Neptune, mastery, spirituality, confusion that leads to transcendence. Pluto, transformation, truth, power, deep evolution. Okay, so when you have a look at your planet, and sun, gate 46, then we read about what gate 46 is about, which you can find everywhere. I'll probably have some information up on this course, or I'll link to where you can read a little bit deeper into your chart. I don't really want to be known as like the library of human design, you know what I mean? Because like that's not my jam. I'm doing the bare minimum here so you can get an understanding and use your human design chart. But I'm not really here to be writing out library and libraries and libraries of all the gates, all the profiles, like all of that, at this stage. But there are plenty of places where you can get source material, like from the founder, to understand these gates and that. One good place is my body graph. You can pull a free chart and get the very basics of your chart. Okay. Beyond that is where, like, we're having readings, or you're in this space and you say, hey sis, can we have a look at this gate and that gate, and how it all correlates, or whatever. But that's why when you bring a certain challenge, then I look at the gates that would probably, the planets and gates, the centers. I intuitively feel into what could be influencing that situation, and then start digging into it. So, you know, it's a wealth of knowledge being condensed down to, provide little nuggets, in these readings. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but in this course, it's designed for you to have an understanding. And if there's that desire to go further, deeper, longer, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So that is the planetary placements. Just a few other little things, okay? You can have the same gates twice in your conscious and unconscious. And this one is actually a really interesting dynamic where I've got both of the gates in Neptune. One is line 6, one is line 4, one is exalted, one is in detriment. So meaning this is this is a like I've got solid energy, like it's a strength, and this one is a challenge, right? Same gate, but what I'm aware of is challenging, but in the background, there, I've got some hidden strength there. So that's what the triangles mean up and down is, detriment, facing down, challenging, and if they're facing up, it's an added strength, right? There's some strength there, and if there's no triangle, it's just neutral, and yeah, it's just there's no up or down. So yeah, okay, that's it for planetary placements.